The J&B building was larger and sleeker than I remembered. The lobby was filled with glass, marble, and cold air. Each step I took felt like brushing against something unfamiliar.
Your name, please?
I spoke quietly. The receptionist glanced at her monitor and gave a slight nod.
Please head up to the 14th floor conference room.
Seeing my name registered in their system felt oddly out of place, as if I had stumbled into the wrong world. The elevator was lined with mirrored walls. My reflection stared back at me from every direction. A brown suit, buttoned up to the collar. A tie that felt too tight. I stood with others in sharp suits, their expressions relaxed. I lifted my eyes toward the ceiling. The elevator ascended slowly, but my gaze kept moving. Could she be here? That question was the only reason I'd come. 14th floor. The doors opened to a sterile hallway. I followed the signs toward the conference room, but my eyes wandered constantly. Names on office doors, faces through cracked open entries. I scanned them with quiet hope. Maybe one of them was her. Everything here felt efficient, calculated. There was no place for me in it. I paused at the door to the conference room, took a breath, and stepped inside. The room was already partially filled with applicants. All silent. I slipped into an empty seat among them. No familiar faces. My hands froze on my knees. My eyes kept drifting back to the door. I knew she wouldn't come. But reason didn't matter. Hope had other plans. As time passed, each creak of the door made me turn. Strangers entered, one after another. I felt my expectations rise and fall, again and again. Around me, others stared at their phones. I felt increasingly distant. This was never a structure I belonged to. Still, I had walked into it. Right on time, a man entered the room. Perfectly tailored light gray suit. Glasses. A measured walk. He carried papers and looked around the room.
Some of you may not hear back after today.
His voice was gentle, yet absolute. I glanced at his name tag. Julian Pike. Even his name felt metallic. Julian Pike turned my resume slowly. Expressionless. Precise fingers. As if he already knew how this would end.
Why did you apply to our company?
Predictable. Expected. I paused before replying.
I was interested in your technical structure, and there's someone here I used to know.
He gave the slightest nod. More suspicion than approval. A movement too thin to be called a smile.
Privacy seems to be a kind of belief among young developers these days.
He tapped the corner of my resume.
But within the reality of national security, how do you view surveillance?
I met his gaze through his glasses. Privacy isn't a preference. It's a prerequisite. Only systems that don't demand trust are truly trustworthy. He gave a faint smile.
Reality isn't so clean. Information is sometimes necessary for control. Freedom only exists within order.
In that moment, I understood. This man was a designer of systems. One who reduced people to variables. He knew Eva. He probably controlled her. He slowly closed my resume.
Idealism is a privilege of the young. It doesn't survive long inside structures like this.
It didn't sound like rejection. It sounded like prophecy. Julian Pike gently set the resume aside. His eyes remained calm, too calm.
Thank you. That will be all for today.
He spoke formally. But I could tell. The outcome was already written. I stood, turned, and left. The door closed behind me like a final period. I walked blankly down the hallway. At the elevator, I stopped. And then,
You?
I turned. It was her. Eva. Neat black suit. Tied back brown hair. Clear, bright eyes. The only new thing was the J&B badge on her chest.
What are you doing here?
She asked gently, hesitantly. I smiled. Barely. Just passing by. She hesitated, then smiled too. That smile. The same as before. And somehow, more painful because of it.
I see. Do you have time later? Even just for a moment.
I was about to nod.
Ava,
From the end of the hall. Julian Pike. His voice landed softly between us. Like dust floating through glass. Julian Pike walked toward us. Measured steps. Impeccable suit. Cold, unreadable expression.
what's going on here?
Though he spoke to her, I knew the question was meant for me. Eva fumbled.
He's someone I used to know. It's been a while.
Yes, but you're on duty.
His voice was soft, but firm.
There are people waiting in the conference room. Please return.
She looked at me again. Started to say something. Then stopped. And nodded. Then Julian turned to me.
Doesn't leave the best impression.
Perfectly polite. But unmistakably dismissive. I stepped into the elevator. As the door slowly shut, I saw her back turning away. Julian stood beside her with folded arms. Like someone who had already calculated the outcome. In that moment, I realized. He wore the face of power. And I wouldn't even leave behind a name. Back in the lobby. My reflection in the glass walls felt like a stranger. I walked out into the street. The outside air was sharp and clean. There was no reason to stay. I was just someone passing through. Nameless. Invisible.